start again. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday, and we're full of the joys of spring here at Case Flower School. So first of all, let us know who's watching, where are you watching in from, and obviously we want to know what's the weather forecast like around the country. I have to say, in Dublin, it's not too bad at all. We're up to around 17 degrees, and they're talking about maybe 18 degrees later as the week goes on. So it's the usual. Once St. Paddy's Day comes, what happens is, we always kind of have this joke, you go out to the St. Patrick's Day parade in the snow and the frost and the ice and the hailstones, and you come back with a sunburnt nose and sunburnt on the back of your ears. You know that way. The weather always changes on St. Paddy's Day here in Ireland, and it's been no different this year. So it's great to be able to look forward to a few bright days. Now, I'm sure there's some of you probably around the country, and maybe the weather is a little bit shite around where you are, so obviously let us know.
Come to Dublin.
Come to Dublin, absolutely. Come up to Dublin for the weekend. Up to the big smoke, as they say. Get up to Dublin and get a job. So what have we got planned today? So obviously it's Daffodil Day on Friday. That's why I have it's a bit tight, this t-shirt, I have to say. I think it must have shrunk. They sent this t-shirt out to us, what, about 2 years ago?
Yeah,
was
about
it?
2 years ago, yeah.
And Deirdre said to me, will you get out the Irish Cancer Society t-shirt and wear it? And here I was, oh my God, I'm going to be bet into it. But anyway, I'm sucking it all in anyway, so that it looks well. Have the leathers on, holding all the flab in. And as I said, Friday is the Irish Cancer Society Daffodil Day, and they will be running lots of fundraisers around the country. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to do one this year ourselves, and that's just because we've already, and still are kind of, running the Ukraine fundraiser. So listen, there's only so much we can ask of people. And this Thursday is going to be Flower Crowns for Ukraine. So anybody that made a donation already to our Ukraine fundraiser, you already have access to the free flower crown course. So there's 3 different flower crowns. 2 of them are using fresh flowers, and 1 is using artificial or faux flowers. And all the flowers that I've used in this flower crown is all available from evergreen silk plants, and it costs less than €10 to make. So all you have to do is donate €10 to the Ukraine. It's going to the Red Cross, okay? Our Ukraine fundraiser. We're on 4,400, is it?
Something like that,
yeah. At the moment. Do you remember we started this fundraiser last week thinking that we'd raise maybe €1,000, but we are going to close.
Now we're getting greedy.
We are getting greedy pigs. We are here, that way. But it just escalated, and we said, "Sure, listen, let's let it run." But we definitely will be closing on Friday, and then all the funds will pass over to the Red Cross. So if you've missed out and you haven't had a chance to download the free Flower Crown course, all you have to do is donate €10. When you get the receipt back from the Red Cross, it will include the login and basically the code to download the course for free. So I'm going to get Janette to maybe put the link in the comments there, so anybody that's watching. Loads of news this week. We also have been nominated for Floral Educator of the Year for the Intrigue Awards. So again, I'm going to ask Janette to maybe put the link, and we really would appreciate if we could get as many votes as possible. Do you know that way? We did win it last year. Now, whether we're pushing our luck and maybe we're being greedy pigs again, looking to see will we win it again this year. But listen, isn't it great to be nominated? Imagine out of all the countries, this is an American award, and here we are in Little Ireland, and Case Flower School is up for Floral Educator of the Year, and Evergreen Silk Plants, Charlie, he's also up for Hard Floral Goods. So make sure when you log in to vote us, scroll down and give Charlie a vote too. He'd really appreciate it. So I've often talked about Ballymad Farm. They're down in County Meath. And do you remember we went out to them last October for Halloween, and we got the pumpkins from them? Well, now at this particular moment, they're growing the daffodils. And if you go past their farm, you'll see outside the gate they have buckets and buckets of daffodils. And it's kind of one of these
honesty
buckets or honesty boxes, whatever. They basically, you pick your own daffodils and you put the money in the box, that way. So we were on to them. We weren't able to make our way down to Meath over the weekend, and we said, is there any chance if they were passing they would drop them in? And they did. And I have to say, the scent of the daffodils is unbelievable. They are nothing like the imported daffodils. Now, a couple of tips when you're buying daffodils yourself. People say, how do you know when they're fresh? Now, stay quiet, listen to this. Can you hear that? How you know a daffodil is fresh is it rustles. Did you hear that noise? It's like a kind of a brown paper bag. You know, if you got a brown paper bag and you rustled it, you know, that way? Well, that's the sort of sound that you get when daffodils are fresh. When a daffodil is old, it kind of goes papery, kind of see-through papery, the petals. And when you shake it, it's silent. And I always remember my mum, when my mum had a flower shop, and when we were getting daffodils, she used to say, close your eyes, Janette, and shake the daffs. And if you can hear them, they're fresh. And if you can't hear them, they're old.
Ballymad Farm have just tuned in.
Well done. So link yourself there, Ballymad Farm. Put the Google
pin
apps or the Google
whatever.
pin or the air code or whatever, because we did an awful job finding it. And there's probably loads of dubs watching here today, and they're going to be exactly the same. So I was saying to you yesterday when we were on for a couple of minutes about taking out any of your jam jars or your pasta jars. Now these obviously aren't jam jars or pasta jars. We bought them and they kind of came in this little box. But listen, like, I'm not going to use this box. I'm actually going to take them out of it. And I just kind of put that little bit of ribbon around the top of them. So basically, I bleached all the containers this morning. Go on.
Ballymad Farm says we can hear the rustle all the way from the cab of the tractor. He's out cutting more daffs as we speak.
Why don't you do a video there now and then post it up there and we can share it on the page. And your lovely dog, they've a gorgeous sheepdog, I'd say it's called, black and white one anyway. And you just be helping them, I think, harvest the daffodils. But they are amazing. Can't think of your names, can you? Lovely couple, madly in love, the two of them, and but they were like the really nice couple. If anybody wants to call down and kind of like meet them. So basically, I wanted to show how to do something really simple and like foam free. You know, that way, because people do be giving out to us about using floral foam. And again, like, we're trying to kind of keep everybody happy. We're trying to give you commercial ideas, and again, we're trying to give you DIY ideas and fast ideas and stuff that you can transport, etc. So what I've just done there is basically with 2 bunches of daffodils, and actually before I do this, I just want to show you a little trick. I'm going to show you that you can wrap twine around the daffodils. And some of you are watching and saying, that's not a big deal. And no, it's not a big deal. Basically, it's just wrapping twine around them and tying a double knot. And that's all great when your hands are kind of like fairly flexible. But if your hands aren't that flexible, do you know that way, you might find it awkward trying to hold the bunch, trying to wrap the twine around and trying to tie a knot at the same time. So this is actually hand-tied twine, and you buy it like off any flower shop. But like garden twine will do exactly the same job. And most of the walk-around shops, pound shops, Deals, Mr. Price, you know, any of these shops, they all sell balls of twine, like for just wrapping up, I don't know, presents. I don't know what else you use twine for. We use it for here at the school for making bouquets of flowers. So a little trick that I show our students when they need to tie up their bouquets, as I normally say to them, measure out approximately a metre or a yard of twine. Now for what I'm going to do today, you actually don't need that amount, you know, that way. But if you're only starting off, I'll just kind of like show you using the larger piece. And about 30 centimetres in, so that's approximately, you know, 12 inches, 30 centimetres in, folds the twine over, basically in half, like you're making a little loop there. So I'm just going to put my finger through that you can see there's a little loop, because I do understand this is quite tiny. But I do have a YouTube video showing this up close and personal, and you'll be able to see more detail. Now, where my finger and thumb are pinching it together, and you probably noticed since yesterday I got the nails done. The nails were in an awful state yesterday, they were. So where my finger and thumb are pinching it together, I'm going to tie a double knot. So literally I just kind of fold it in on itself, bring it through, and just so that you can see it kind of happening there, there is the double knot you see being created. So you end up with a loop. So I have my fingers in through the loop. You end up with a long string, and you also end up with a short string. I'll just separate them there just so that you can see them. So there's our short string, which is less than the 30 centimetres now, and there is our long string. Now, if my arm was the bunch of daffodils, you know the way, and obviously you're going to be holding it with one of your hands, okay? So I'm going to show you how I can do this with one hand. So my arm is the bunch of daffodils. With my other arm, I can wrap the twine around here. So what I do is I bring the loop around and I catch it in my mouth, okay? That's going to shut me up for a second. Okay? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the long string in through that loop, and then I can pull it. So do you see the way I was able to do that all with one hand and my mouth, obviously? And then what you can do is you can wrap that around your bunch of daffodils a number of times, you know, that way you can have, we're not pulling it real tight, you know what I mean? It's for decoration purposes only. And you see the way I'm left with a short bit of string here. And then you can also see I have the other short bit of string that I was left with at the very beginning. I can then lie the bunch of daffodils on the table, so we pretend, you know, that we, and then I can tie the knot and cut off the little remnants. Now you don't have to do that, okay? But just if, I'm going to have to cut this off my own arm there, but just if anybody is struggling, trying to wrap the twine around something, that's a little trick. Now the cha-ching in the background that time was Deirdre noticing that somebody was after donating to the Ukraine fund. So what happens is when anybody donates, up on our phone we get this sound that kind of goes cha-ching. So then we normally go cha-ching kind of back to each other, right? So if you want Deirdre to go cha-ching,
happy little monkeys here cha-chinging around the room.
So all you have to do is donate. So Sinead again is going to put the link in the comments there. She'll be coming up about now. Click on it, you know the way it takes you 2 seconds. Minimum of €10 is all you have to donate. We're not looking for big money, but obviously you can donate as much as you want. And what happens is you'll get the receipt back from the Red Cross thanking you for your donation with all the details about downloading the course.
And just somebody said, this was last week, somebody said, why do we use Just Giving as a thing? Just Giving don't charge a fee for charities.
Yeah.
So, and also we don't have to handle the money at all. So
nobody can say that we done a runner with the money, okay? Just some of the, you know, like GoFundMe, some of them, they take a percentage. So say us raising €4,000, they could maybe take, I actually don't know what
I don't know what it is.
But 200 or 300 could be gone out of that to the actual GoFundMe. Where with Just Giving, they actually don't take any percentage out of it. So literally every penny that goes into the fund will go straight to the Red Cross, and we have no handling on it whatsoever.
A couple of people, or a good few people are saying that they have voted. Bernie was asking, can they vote every day, or what's the story?
I'm not sure. So do you know what, Bernie? Why don't you just go and try it?
There's George Mac Fitness is watching.
Oh, George, hey George. What do you think, George? Small t-shirt, that's me PT trainer. Anybody looking for a PT trainer? John Bosco on the Davit Road. I tell you, he's an animal, he is.
Well, you can see what he's done to Janette over the last few months, in fairness.
The last 2 months, I tell you, he's after shredding me. But you know the way I just say on the class how to give you a bollocking? Well, I tell you, he gives you a bollocking. He doesn't let you away with anything. You think I'm bad? You want to go to George. Anyway, back to our arrangement. So if anybody's having troubles with their twines, you can always rewind back and you can watch that little trick that I showed you. But I do have it on YouTube. A lot of you don't realise we have lots of free courses up
every
on our
week.
YouTube channel.
A video goes up on YouTube.
Yeah. And it's free, do you know that way? And all you have to do is subscribe. I think we have over 11,000 followers on YouTube. So if you subscribe to it, you will get like an email to say that we've uploaded a new course. So back to your daffodils, is you can bunch them all together. You can see they're just kind of between my finger and my thumb. If you don't want to do that little trick, what I do is I just hold the twine with my thumb and then I wrap it around a number of times, you know that way. But as I said, just for anybody that would be struggling, and this is more for decoration, do you know that way? And then what I can do is I can lie it on the table. So I'm just going to lie it down here. I'm going to tie the 2 pieces of twine together. Double knot. Don't pull it real tight, because remember the daffodils have a hollow stem, so they split real easy if you pull it too tight. And then I'm just going to trim it a little bit. And what I want to do also is, if you want to do a second bit of twine, so I'm just going to measure off another little piece of twine. This is what it looks like so far. Again, I'm going to hold it with my thumb and I'm going to wrap it around the same area, do you know that way? Again, a number of times. And then when I get so far, I lie it down on the table and I'm going to tie the 2 short pieces of string together in a double knot.
House of Crafts says, best YouTube channel ever. Thanks a million.
Thanks a million. I hope you voted for us. So remember, we're up for Floral Educator of the Year. It's an American award. And imagine little old us, Case Flower School in Dublin, Ireland, tiny little country, is up there in the top 5, you know that way. But all we need now is your votes to get us, you know what I mean, up to the top of the 5. So again, there you can see where you can tie them together. Do you see? And you can do that a number of times coming down the bunch if you want. And then you can, I'll just move things out of the way here. You can then get your little jam jar, you know that way. You can cut these to any length. I want this one quite short, you know that way. And then you can kind of place them down into your little jam jar. And just see the way it's just so simple.
It's not so simple,
so
just
easy.
as a gift for somebody, though.
Exactly. And like the thing is, it's Mother's Day coming up at the weekend. Now, I'm not telling anybody to do it, but the M50 is full of daffodils. Sorry, Deirdre's making faces at me. I shouldn't have said that. Go out to your garden
And buy them, but buy them for cancer.
Buy them for buy them for the Irish Cancer Society. And the thing is, like, you can make the bunches, like, say, different sizes. Obviously, one I had done earlier. And to see the way, again, you can stand that down. And then you have, see, your bunches kind of different sizes. Or again, if you want to leave them even longer, I'm just going to put another little bit of twine around this one. So we'll just measure it out. And the scent of these is absolutely gorgeous. And again, wrap it around a couple of times. Now this could be a fabric, you know what I mean? If you were doing this as maybe, if somebody was having maybe a small party at home, little wedding ceremony, birthday party, whatever, again, you could wrap ribbon around, you know, to bring in your colour scheme. That would look nice. And people could bring them home afterwards. So again, just kind of a taller bunch there, just kind of like showing you, just kind of stepped in. So can you see, Jeanette, just very, very simple kind of designs.
Isabel, Janette wants to know, she said that she thought she was going to get onto the module 1, which is starting this week, but she couldn't. And
yeah, see, what happens is we close the bookings a week before the course starts. So module 1 is starting tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock in the Bloom Room. So any of our new students that are watching, 9 o'clock in the Bloom Room, have your notebook and pen ready. Now, our actual classes don't happen in the Bloom Room. The Bloom Room is like the virtual interactive classroom, and it's like where all the crack happens, you know, the way yapping down the back, you know, the way throwing airplanes at the teacher, money slagging, but it's kind of where all the crack happens.
It's where everyone seems to be getting COVID at the moment.
Absolutely. Deirdre was saying this morning, I think it's 63,000 people in Ireland have COVID. So if anybody's watching there has COVID, comment and let us know, and we'll send you good wishes, we will. But I think out of our Module 2 students that we've had for the past few weeks, over, was it 12 of them, 13 of them?
Yeah.
They're dropping like flies, and that's online. Can you imagine if the poor feckers were actually attending the class? You know, that way, just looking for kind of for a couple more open ones in this.
So, sorry, Isabel wanted to know when was the next module 1,
so
Janette?
18th of May is the next module 1, okay? And
so that'll close around the 10th of May.
Yeah, give it about 10 days, a week, 10 days beforehand, because we have to get your kit posted out to you, and your kit will contain all the materials that you'll need for your course. It'll also, what will happen is then your flower delivery will come out 10 days later, because a couple of the students that are starting this tomorrow were on to see when was their flowers coming. But you listen, I have to teach you something before the flowers arrive. So we need to kind of get you trained in. And it means then when the flowers arrive, you will have the exact same flowers and the exact same material as what the tutor is using in all the tutorials. So it's not like one of these classes that I demonstrate in roses and you have to work in crap, you know, that way. Nothing wrong with daffodils, but you understand, if I work in lilies, you work in lilies. When I work in roses, you work in roses, and we don't actually work with daffodils on that particular course.
Jesus, there's loads of people saying they have COVID. Robert Doyle is watching. He's watching from his bed with COVID, getting a right kick out of
That's
you.
Robert,
is that Robert in Wexford? Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. What I'm just doing, these are just little bits of birch twig. They've just fallen on the ground here. Just bend down in my tight trousers. And what I'm just going to do is just kind of like slightly spiral them around, but I'm going to squeeze the stems back in again. Do you know, that sort of way?
Joanne over the UK. She says the modules are fab. She can't wait to start module 4 tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking forward to Joanne. It'll be great crack. So again, just to make your little bunches of daffodils a little bit more kind of like wild and wonderful and kind of countryside looking. And then what I'm going to do is again wrap some twine kind of around these, just showing you like other little things. You could bring the twigs, by the way, up in between the daffodils, but I find you don't get a nice bunch effect. So I kind of found it easier to bunch them first and then put the twigs around the outside. And by positioning the twigs on a slant, I kind of found that they sit better for me than if I kind of put them in dead straight.
Vicky's Floral Design says she's working hard as always, ladies. She misses the courses and she misses your voice in the house, Janette. Mick says,
Vicky. Put the link up for your flower shop there, Vicky. She's down in Cork, is it?
Vicky.
Vicky's Floral
yeah,
Design.
is she Cork?
I think it's Cork. I'm actually not too sure. And again, if anybody's looking to order flowers for Mother's Day, like any of our students that are watching there, like Robert's down in Enniscorthy, Bob's Blossoms and Blooms and Baskets, it's all the bees anyway, and I'm sure Matt have added a few words in there that shouldn't have been added in. But again, he'll tag his company, and if you live in that area and you want to order flowers off him, you can, or anyone else.
Yeah, Vicky's in Cork. Paula says she's looking forward to starting module 1 tomorrow. She tested positive on Sunday with COVID.
It's just mad, isn't it? Like, you know.
But now hang on, Paula. Now, when you come into the Bloom Room, you have to wear a mask.
Wear a mask in the Bloom Room, absolutely. But isn't it just, you know what I mean? It's kind kind of frightening it is. But Deirdre was saying, like, her son said to her this morning, this is a bit of a tight squeeze, by the way. It was like me trying to get into this t-shirt this morning. Deirdre was saying this morning, like, her son had said to her, guess how many people in Ireland have COVID? And we were kind of, you know, she's saying like 15,000, 20,000, like 60. Well, he said 60, and then one of her students said 63. You know, that way. Again, just absolutely mad. So again, just showing you, like, that's like a milk bottle. Now I know the shop around the corner from us, the Cupcake, and he has COVID as well, but the Cupcake bloke, they sell real bottles of milk. Is that what you call it? Unpasteurised milk or pasteurised milk? And if you bring the bottles back, you get your deposit back, you know, that way. But obviously we didn't bring the bottles back. So these are just kind of showing you where, again, you can add in a few little twigs. And when they make, like, again, very simple kind of designs, you know, that sort of way. And you can make them all the same height. There's one there with no twigs in it. And then we have another one there. So again, simple kind of like table arrangements. So anybody that's maybe visiting maybe somebody in a nursing home, wouldn't these be beautiful? Like, to have a few of these, and again, just displaying them around the place, you know, that way, and not going to cost an awful lot of money. And you will be supporting the Irish cancer research at the same time if you buy all your daffodils for Daffodil Day. Now, I'm not finished, I've something else to show you.
Joanne Palfman says her husband had COVID last week. She had the best sleep ever because she chucked him out into the spare room.
That was brilliant.
Cassia Flares watching bed. COVID got me on Paddy's Day. Yeah, like, and there's some people getting really sick with this one. This one seems to be a different one to what we got at Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah,
this is just.
When's the next date for module 2? Module 2, June, the 8th of June.
8th of June. There's a tiny little bunch. You see, just again, tiny little container, just showing you how you can just display them. So again, by having all the different heights, you know, that way, and even on your tables, you know what I mean, it's to have low ones and high ones. But again, you can do these in other flowers, you know what I mean, we're just concentrating on daffodils. But we have just a container here. So again, if you want to make maybe a simple centerpiece, add our small little vase of daffodils kind of sitting down there, and then maybe a kind of a more medium bunch, you know, that way, in about there, and then maybe a taller bunch in about there. You see the way you can just kind of like adjust it around. Now, was anybody following Deirdre on her, what do you call them, camper buses? Or?
Yeah, the camper vans.
Camper vans. So Deirdre went travelling at the weekend, and she hired out, wasn't hers anyway, they hired out a camper van, and they did Cork and Kerry and Limerick and all the counties between Dublin and getting down there anyway. Now, they were wrecked when she got home, and as she said, she's done it. Will she do it again? Don't think so. What did they say?
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt. But anyway, if you were watching her, she brought back a bag of moss, you know, that way. So she went up into the woods. Now, do you know what? There's such moany people out there, right? They'll be giving out when we use foam, and then they're giving out when they see us being environmentally friendly and getting some fresh moss. There's nothing wrong in taking a little bit of moss if it's for your own personal use. And I'm going to bring this arrangement around to my mum, you know, that way. So we're not selling the arrangement.
It's not for commercial use.
It's not for commercial use. So obviously, if you're up there now with black sacks, where were you? You said destination unknown. She didn't even say where she was, so nobody could get out and report her. But like, if you're just foraging in Ireland, different countries have different rules. But in Ireland, if you're just foraging a little bit moss for your own personal use, it's absolutely fine. Anyway, I'd say you own that land. Did you do it?
Oh, I probably did, yeah. Joanne Palfman says camper vans is like sleeping in your car. You better believe it. And my husband is 6'7". So
she said one of the bunks was a double bunk. But again, her and him got into it. They just slept on the kitchen table. The kitchen table turned into a bed as well. But she said now it was something else. But anyway, she borrowed out of your own land the most amazing moss. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? And people say to me, what about the creepy crawlies? Now, this isn't environmentally friendly. I get a tin of fly killer, you know, wasp killer. And I just spray it into the bag, tie a knot, and then, boom, that's them all gone. Do you know that way?
But that moss, it was really dry. It was really dry moss. It actually was hard to get it off the rocks. We actually had the kids helping us because I wouldn't put my hands into it.
So all I'm doing here is I'm just forcing the moss down around our glass containers, you know, the way, kind of in between them to kind of like give them a little bit of space, and then kind of around the outside to kind of like wedge them in place. Now, if you haven't got moss, you know the way, like the containers were fine there on their own, and you could also could have put some water into the end of the container, and then just cut up little sprigs of wild ivy, and just stick all the wild ivy in as well. That would have been grand.
Somebody just said that daffs don't last long, but can you do anything to prolong them?
No, 5-6 days is the maximum that you can get. Now, I don't know, what day did they deliver them?
Sunday.
Oh, it was so, yeah, because Sunday evening when I come home, the box was there. So, and I know they were only freshly picked, so I'm assuming the fella was up at 6 o'clock that morning, would you say so?
I'd say he was, yeah.
So, like, we're on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Now, there's still lots of life in them. I know by the rustly sound, you know, that way. So, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, Friday, you're kind of saying they're just about gone. Like, so 5-6 days is normally what you get out of daffodils. Now, obviously, if the weather is that little bit cooler, you're going to get longer. But remember, in Dublin, the weather is up to 18 degrees, or will be later on as the week goes on. So, we're obviously only going to get till about Friday. So, there I have, you can see the way I've wedged some kind of some moss in around our containers there, just to kind of like make it a little bit different. And there is a very, very simple table design. But as I said, isn't it just gorgeous just having your bottles of daffodils, you know, that way around the table. You can make them all different lengths or different heights. And again, our little small ones. So you wouldn't even want dinner. This would be the perfect diet plan. Do you know that sort of way? I'd say George is looking and saying, yeah, if Janette just watched the daffodils and didn't eat everything else that's around her, she'd be absolutely fine. But seriously, like, you know what I mean? Something very simple just for decorating your table and wouldn't cost you an awful lot of money. So if you are down around the Mead area, Ballymad Farm is where we got.
He's actually put his air code into the comments.
Yeah,
so
it's
just
a nasty box outside. Was there any moss down there, Deirdre?
Oh God, I don't know.
I'm saying if you were, I don't know, let us know, is there any moss down around your area? Well, like throughout the year, they're also going to have Sweet William. Oh, the other thing about
he's planting the pumpkins at the moment. He's
planting the pumpkins, so we'll be back down next October for the pumpkins. I tell you, they were the best pumpkins in Ireland, and I'm not just saying that because they're watching. Like, every pumpkin was a regular shape, a regular size, and didn't wobble. Do you know that way? So because we used the pumpkins for floral arrangements and floral displays, they were just ideal. Like, there's no point in having the Tesco, I'm only slagging, but Tesco are little or Aldi pumpkins, and they're wobbling all over the place. His pumpkins were perfect. Plus he had some unusual colours. Do you remember the
That's
kind of
right, the green. Actually,
colours?
and you know what? Because I just put them out into the garden thinking that they'd rot down into, but they haven't. Well, no, they're still solid. Like,
right, they're probably all mushy underneath, but.
Oh, well, I haven't moved them.
Anyway. Back to our flower crown. So on Thursday, this is probably a little bit small for me, is it? Just about fit me?
Yeah, that's
there
good.
we go. So on Thursday, we have our flower crowns, or crowns for Ukraine. Hashtag crowns for Ukraine, and also hashtag pick flowers, not fights, okay? So this is for florists worldwide showing their support for Ukraine. There's absolutely no excuse. I'm giving you the free course, how to make the flower crowns. All you had to do was donate €10, and in your receipt back, the link is in the comments to donate. In the receipt back from the Red Cross, you will be all the details to watch the course, okay? There's 3 flower crown courses, you know, all together. So you have 2 fresh ones, and you have the artificial one. With the artificial one, I'll show you all the materials that I use. I do it for the fresh ones as well, by the way. And if you want to buy the artificial materials from Charlie in Evergreen Silk Plants, again, he supplied me with all the materials that I used. So what we need you to do is make a flower crown and post it on Thursday. But you must use the hashtag. And if you're posting it on Instagram, tag us in it. So tag Case Flower School. And what we will do is we'll share it. The whole idea on Thursday is to bombard social media with lots and lots of photographs. So even yesterday when I went over to get my nails done, the nail technician and the fellow who was doing my pedicure, they both posed, you know what I mean, in the flower crown, so that again, that we can post up these photographs just showing our support. That's what it's all about. So we'd really, really appreciate it.
And just our scholarship finalists.
Yeah. So next Thursday, and again, we'll be on beforehand to remind you, but next Thursday we will be announcing the winner. We're down to 11 people, the winner of the scholarship. And any of the scholarship finalists, you've got an email. Cha-ching! It's not cha-ching one. Bing, bing. There's an email in your box, so go and have a look at it, because you have a little more. You have one more little job to do to be in with that last chance of being picked as the winner for our scholarship, and that'll be announced next Thursday. And more than likely, we'll be on doing a demonstration or doing something.
Yeah.
Haven't a clue what, but we have something planned for you anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we love them and leave
We
them.
love them and leave them, and thanks a million to
Huge
everybody.
thanks
And
for
please
everybody.
do go and support the Irish Cancer Society
Absolutely.
on Friday.
So buy all
Yeah.
your daffodils, and I think what we will do is on Friday is we post up some old daffodil videos that we had. You know that way, because we won't be around on Friday. Well, I'll be around, but Deirdre's off gallivanting. She is
Not in a camper van.
Not in a camper van. She's going into a posh hotel this time. Had enough of them camper vans. She's done it now. She has been saying that the kids had a ball. They had. So what we probably do on Friday is post a couple of our old daffodil videos. Now I will put on it that this is last year's or the year before's or whatever, because in case during the video I announce giveaways or presents, it won't presents or you know the way it won't obviously be relevant because they'll be old ones. But tomorrow morning, what time tomorrow morning? The hat box.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock tomorrow morning, there's actually a pre-recorded live free class how to do a Mother's Day hat box arrangement. So anybody that's interested, tune in at 9 o'clock in the morning, and again, share, please vote, and please donate. Jesus, we're looking for all today, aren't we? Thanks a million everybody for joining in. Hope you enjoyed our very quickie demo there this morning. And again, if you do make any of the displays that we show you, post them all over in the Flurry Fun group. Have a great day everyone. Talk to you soon.